Well, welcome to news here at Spokane Talks Media. I'm really pleased today to have a couple of beautiful ladies here today. I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore, you know. Oh, I'm getting a nod. Yes, I can. Okay. And they're not only the District 2 council persons, they're my council persons too. All right. Double duty. They're really scared now. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna talk about a lot of things going on in Spokane. We've been through a crisis, a pandemic, and everything else. The world has been turned upside down. I don't know how many times. We've worked from home. We've worked from remote locations. We've learned Zoom. All of the other things in life. We'll be back to talk with these lovely ladies right after this.
Are you looking for something generational, timeless, with historical truth? Then We the People Interactive Calendar is right for you, designed for the generations. With over hundreds of historical dates and funny cartoons, We the People Calendar makes the perfect conversation starter about America's history, what the founders intended, and why it's important today. Our mission is to expand conversations as we all learn together in our pursuit of truths. Let us add to the legacy of our ancestors. To get started, scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen and begin your conversation today.
Well, welcome back. As I mentioned, we have a couple of lovely ladies here. And first of all, from District 2 on the Spokane City Council. Did I get that right?
You got
Yes,
it
you
right.
All right.
did.
And we have two ladies here for 2nd District. I want to spend a lot of time on downtown because when I first came to Spokane, I worked downtown and I love working downtown. It's great, but some things have been going crazy recently, the last couple of years, for lots of reasons. But Lori Kinnear, welcome.
Thank you, Kent.
All right. And Betsy Wilkerson. Am I saying it right?
You are.
Okay. I have trouble with names if it's past Adams or Smith, okay? But anyway, you're going to walk away from this going, he's crazy, but you would be right, both of you. One of the things I've done in preparation for today, and I don't usually do this, and I mentioned this to you before we started recording, is that usually I just sit down and throw out questions. But there's so much going on and there's so much attention right now to downtown. The good news is we have Bloomsday this weekend. We have 3-on-3 basketball coming. We've got more going on downtown than we've had for 3 years, isn't it? I mean, so we're back open.
Yes.
However, I'm going to walk from here to downtown and I know what I'm going to pass. And it's some vagrants and others who are sleeping on the streets and so forth. I first looked at them as, and felt really kind of disgusted and so forth. One of the things I've learned in the last couple of years is that they need help. They're a child of God just like I am and like you are, and that we need to help them. I've been very vocal on my support of organizations like Union Gospel Mission and others that are out there doing yeoman's work, really, and so forth. And so, yes, I feel sorry for them, but not in the way I did even 2 to 3 years ago, because we've been facing more and more. I showed up to work yesterday and someone's window had been cracked open. You know, fortunately, I haven't had that happen. Sam, who's running this program, his window one night when he went out at night had been cracked open and so forth. And there we are, you know. So I've asked a couple of people to send me some questions, and I'm going to, and as I said before, I don't usually do this, I'm going to read the questions. So, okay. And so, Council Member Kinnear, the first question is for you. And you were quoted in the Spokesman Review stating that property crime was down in the central business district, and that you were not hearing of property crimes. This forced the downtown business community, as you know, to respond with an editorial. It was some time ago, I think, a couple months ago, if I remember right. At that time, you were council public safety chair, all these titles that we end up having. Council member is only one of many hats that you wear every day. Didn't you have access to all the stats? And was this an anomaly in time, or what has changed?
What has changed? First of all, thanks for having us.
Yes.
And you missed something very important in your introduction. You mentioned Bloomsday,
Yes.
our 3-on-3 basketball, but you didn't mention today is Paul McCartney Day. So I want to acknowledge
The
that
what now?
Paul McCartney is here in town
Oh, tonight.
tonight.
Yes.
This is his first.
Well, he was with some very popular group back in
It's
my
that
day.
little dance band. I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the name. Yes. So
Careful, we don't want to age ourselves too directly, you know.
So I just want to make sure that it's not just the things that we have had here forever and ever,
Right.
such as Bloomsday, but we're attracting people like Paul McCartney and Bob Dylan.
And I was going to say, by having Paul McCartney come, it has opened up the doors, talking with Visit Spokane folks, opened up the other doors to other people that are coming.
Absolutely.
Bob Dylan and others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question,
Don't you
about-
love it?
I do.
Yeah.
Betsy will tell you, I've been obsessed for the last 3 days at
Uh-oh.
watching our
She
pod.
going
Looking.
tonight?
No,
No,
I'm not.
just looking for him.
Just looking. He must
On
be
the
around
streets.
here walking, doing something, but okay. So in answer to your question, we do have stats, but as you know, statistics, what do they say about statistics? Lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yes.
And so the information I get is a snapshot in time.
Right.
And I was responding, that was taken out of context to the point where I was responding to a question, but there was more to the question than that. I was talking also about violent crime that was up across the country. And property crime right now is really bad in downtown.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that we're talking about criminal behavior versus people who are actually homelessness and need help.
Right,
Those
right.
are two different categories.
They are, for the most part, different people.
And we need to make
Yes.
sure that we're not conflating the two.
Right, right.
And in terms of property crime, what we have done as council is we've added 6% more to the police budget
Okay.
for 2022. We just
And a new vehicle.
approved a new $500,000 vehicle.
Yes.
I'm very much resolved to making sure the police department is successful. We're
Yes.
looking at a new facility for a headquarters right now that city council will fund.
Okay.
And I've got the backing. I'm no longer the safety chair, but I do have the backing of most of the council members.
Good.
So that's all positive. We're moving in the right direction.
Right.
And as you pointed out, we're coming out of a pandemic, something we have never seen in our lifetime.
And we never hope to
And
see
we
it
never
again.
hope to see again.
Right?
So we were caught unprepared, as you can imagine, trying to find our way. And as people left downtown to work remotely, it left a void.
Yeah, it did.
No more eyes on the street.
That's very true.
And nature abhors a vacuum.
Yeah.
And that vacuum was filled.
Yeah.
So now as we're coming out of the pandemic, it's really important that we get back to work. Those buildings that are not going to be filled with workers, that's an opportunity for business owners to say, hey, let's put more living space downtown.
I have to ask kind of a related follow-up question to that, though. I get worried when I see that we're spending time and money and effort on buying Teslas or other electric cars, and yet we're not addressing, now we are, because you just pointed out some things, the real issues. By the way, and this is first, I think, out to our public, is that we've done a sheriff's report all along. Okay, you probably have seen some of that. Well, from now on, it started next month, May, and it'll be a called badge report, because it will alternate between the sheriff and the police chief.
Great.
Because we need to talk about what's going on in the city of Spokane too, and we're real pleased. We got a big sponsor that's helping to underwrite the costs and so forth. So we'll be focusing more and more, not just downtown, but all of Spokane, because we've all seen the drive-by shootings and some of the other things going on. And as an individual, my wife tells me she won't come downtown.
Well, we just walked from City Hall to here.
Okay, good,
And-
good.
Did you see anything scary?
No,
We walked.
I wasn't out there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no comment.
Okay.
No, we are down here almost every day.
Yeah.
And in answer to your Tesla question, we're following state law.
Oh.
We did not create that, and we are out of compliance right now. Now, the police department has said those Teslas won't work. We actually had our larger officers come down, and I stood there with them. I said, I want to see you in that car.
Yeah, yeah.
He says, I'll sit in it. He says, but I can't buckle the seatbelt. And once I'm in, I don't know if I can get out.
Okay.
And he couldn't. He was a big guy.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, this isn't working. We need to do
Okay.
something else. So we did fund other cars, and we need to listen to the police department when they say this
Yeah.
isn't working.
Good,
for us.
good. So you're listening.
Oh, yes.
To both of you now. There are over 400 people, as you know, at the WASDOT homeless range camp out on our streets and in natural areas down by the river, our shorelines, and they're filled with campers. We see that almost nightly on the news and so forth. Do you know what is causing this expansion of homeless in our city, and what can we do about it?
Well, I want to thank you for that question. I want to speak to that. So I have to just interject. I know the downtown business are using the word vagrant a lot.
Yes.
And as a person who's been labeled, I really think they're just people. We don't have to use that
Yeah.
word to identify.
Yeah.
For me, it kind of
Did I use
dehumanizes
that?
them. Yeah, it
Okay.
dehumanizes folks.
Yeah.
But Camp Hope, which is in my neighborhood, I shop at the Fred Meyers. I live off of 4th and Altamont. There's nowhere else to go. So I've been in Spokane a long time, went to Lewis and Clark. If anyone's been here a long time, the west end of town was low-income, single-occupancy apartments
Right.
where a lot of those folks lived.
Right.
As economic development came and those were flipped,
Yes.
those units were never replaced.
Yes.
And so they had nowhere to go.
And we-
so,
yeah.
and so we are behind not only for just all folks.
For building.
but for building.
P-
but
period.
But for that
Yes.
population who's on a fixed income,
Yes.
there's been nothing built for them.
Yes.
And so it's not the best, but if you look at it, they created a community. And is it the best? Absolutely not. And do we want to do something for them? Yes. But they feel welcome there. And whether people like it or not, thank you, WashDOT, for letting them be there, because they could be scattered all over our city.
Right.
But now they're in a space where some services are coming in, police,
People
fire.
that can help know
People
where to
can
go.
Go where to go.
Right.
We just heard anecdotally that police are taking homeless people there.
Okay.
Because that's where they are going.
Yeah.
So as we unravel this, and it's so multi-layered, but our
Yes.
conversation has always been about just homeless. It's families,
Yes.
it's women, it's men, and there is this hardcore population that's homeless, that's a lifestyle. They bring criminal behavior, and that 10% is probably sucking 80% of the money out of the services. So until we start teasing it out some and funding those other particular areas that need help, my story is I run an assisted living facility, and I have a caregiver. She broke up with her boyfriend, and now she's living in her car.
Oh, no.
Because she has nowhere else to go.
Right.
She can't find an apartment, she makes a decent wage, but she don't have first and last month's rent. So there's all those people who are out there.
How do we help those people? I'm just going to go off script in my notes here. How do we help those people? Because that's the nuts and bolts of this, is what can we do to help them? Because I have to believe the majority of the people don't want to be where they are.
No.
Okay?
No.
Okay, so let's start from that premise, all right? And we can talk about the criminal behavior
Right.
as another issue. But how do we help people? And I just had Darren Watkins
Mm-hmm.
in talking about all of the building and what we've been doing, and the fact that we haven't built condos for the last
Mm-hmm.
15 or 20 years because of certain regulations that make it much easier to do apartments, okay? And we want people, we know for a fact, the more people that can own their home, the better
Absolutely.
off we all are
Absolutely.
for our community.
Yes.
So that's a given.
Yes.
But sometimes you have to, like all of us have done in the beginning of our married life
Mm-hmm.
and so forth, we're in apartments, okay? But how can we afford what used to be a $500 or $600 apartment that's now a $1,300 apartment, and then wants first and last and deposit?
Exactly.
Is there a way with federal dollars and others that we can help do that as a stopgap, at least for the next probably decade?
For the deck. So I'm excited about there. So there is funding out there now, and we took our eye off the ball. Come to Spokane, it's
Yeah,
cheap
yeah,
to live here,
yeah.
and so we brought employers
We
here.
even touted low wages.
Low
Yes,
wages,
we
low rent.
Stupid,
but we brought them here, but we were never talking about housing
Yeah.
as we were growing our economic base.
Right.
So we took our eye off the ball.
Right.
We all have to kind of own that.
Yes.
But now there is a recognition and there is funding. So people didn't like it, but council did the 1590 vote, which was councilmanic, to have this 1/10 and 110% tax to go towards housing.
Okay.
We got the housing action plan. Things are moving, but it will not be overnight. And that is frustrating
Yeah, for everybody.
for everybody.
I
Yeah.
don't mean to interrupt,
Come on.
but Kent, the other piece is, you remember the housing crisis, right?
Yes.
Okay. When that happened, the contractors, the skilled labor, they left.
Yes.
They did something else.
Yes.
We now have a supply chain problem.
Yes.
We have a skilled labor problem. We have unprecedented development services, that's unprecedented
Yeah.
building permits right now.
And
So-
finding workers.
finding workers, right?
Yeah.
All of these things are compounding, but things are moving.
Okay.
It's going to take time, and as Betsy said, we have this money, and we have to put it out in the community.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to be a little creative. That's why I'm pleading with those business owners downtown who have a building.
Yes.
And the workers aren't coming back. Build housing. The building's already there. You can convert it.
Right.
And there's funding for that.
And I think a lot of us in the business community have to take some blame, and I will admit my own in that we pushed higher education as the only solution for people,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
I know of people that are out there working and loving what they're doing that are making a lot more than I ever did
Yes.
in the private sector
Absolutely.
as a blue collar worker. I mean, as a white collar worker,
Yeah.
right? Okay, and such satisfaction, and that market has deteriorated, and there's some action now with the building groups and
Yes.
so forth. I'm sure
Yes.
you're
Recruitment.
aware of all that and supportive.
So they'll tell you the average age of construction work is about 55 years age. That's about the average age of construction workers right
Really?
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to retire.
Yes, I was gonna say.
There's going to be a big
And they might
retirement.
actually stay retired,
Then they-
unlike some of us.
Because it's physically demanding. So my standing joke is,
Yes.
I tried to get my son to be a plumber. I said, be a plumber. You'll make more money. You can take care of
Yes.
your mother.
Yes.
He became an accountant, but that's okay. But yeah, how do we really expose our young people to this, where they can have a viable life, economy, provide for their families? And it's only 2 years.
No
Some's
student
only
debt.
nine.
And
No
s-
student debt.
No student
Some
debt.
only 9 months.
And if you've been in the service and a couple other things,
Yes.
everything is basically paid for.
Absolutely.
Because we've
Absolutely.
had a couple people on talking about that, and they can go to work starting at $60,000 to $80,000 a year, and the benefits that go with it, and so forth. And
Absolutely. But we have to give the people who are out there now the opportunity to retrain.
yes,
So the partnership with
that
the community
happens all the
college.
time. It's happened in my lifetime
Yes.
several times.
Yes.
You know?
But the opportunities, everybody's hiring. You can go anywhere.
Yeah,
Minimum wage has gone up. It's still not where it needs to be to support a family or even an independent person. But the opportunities are. I went out to the airport and saw the backside of the airport.
yes,
I had never been exposed to aerospace before. Oh my God, the jobs that are available that pay good money. Not aerospace, construction, trades, mechanics, STA, bus drivers. The opportunities are endless right now.
Yes.
But how do we help those people get there? And I think that's the opportunity. And I will just interject. I've been talking to people who do this work, but they're struggling themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have capacity. They don't have the workers to meet the needs
Yes.
that are out there. So we're all in this
I
together.
know of businesses that said, I can't take any more projects because I can't meet the demand.
Right.
And that's sad, because they and their current employees and their future employees are limited.
Yes.
down the road.
And that's the same conversation I had with the people in the mental health field.
Yes.
They go, Betsy, we do not have enough case managers
Yeah.
to meet the growing need. Currently, there's a limited supply.
But we're seeing some success.
We are.
With those that go out with our police and deputies and so
Yes.
forth. And I hear from them, meaning, the blue
Yes.
folks,
Yeah.
that it is helping.
It is
Yeah,
helping.
in fact, council funded 4 additional.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes, because
Yeah.
it's so successful.
Yes, yes.
It
So
is.
we're getting smart in a time that's really changing, that we really haven't lived through before.
Correct.
I
It's
mean,
all brand new.
yeah, isn't it?
We have
It
no
really-
experience.
Yeah.
At least I don't with
Yeah.
the pandemic or
Yeah,
all
I know.
these things.
You're looking at me like, well, you've been around long enough. You should have experience. I'm kidding.
I'm not that far behind you though. So
Oh, let's not go there. Okay. 45 must be really nice. I don't remember it. Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
Uncharted territory for all of us.
It is. It is. But I hear a lot from the business community, where my roots have been since I came to Spokane in 1976, 2 years after the World's Fair. And I know what the World's Fair did. I was the communications manager then, and my first thing to learn was the 8 or 16 projector slide program. I learned and memorized, and I'm not good at memorizing, what went on. And then the nice thing was I got to meet over the course of the next year or two, my first year or two here in Spokane, all those people I saw that King Cole and all the others
Yeah.
really created something. And I loved it when we were doing Boomer Radio up at KGRB about 7 years ago. And I remember having people up there talking about the renovation and upgrade of Riverfront Park after 40 years. And it was kind of worn and everything else and so forth. And I'm going to see this summer so much use down there. I love it.
Excited,
I love it.
yeah.
My old boss from Southern California, first time I knew of Spokane was the World's Fair, because he was taking his family from Los Angeles to come up here. And then did I know 2 years later I would be up here and in the middle of it all, okay? Working with King Cole and Dave Clack
Yeah.
and all of the others. In fact, I often joke that many of the folks I work with in the community are now in senior homes, okay? Because I represented Washington Water Power in those days with
Right.
Paul Redmond and
Yes.
Wendell Satry, and that was my job, to be out in the community. In fact, I was embarrassed often if you would ask me, well, do you know so-and-so that works at Water Power? No, I spend about 4 of my 5 days out in the community. It was a great job. I mean, to get paid to be involved and support and grow your community is a great job. And I love this community. People ask where you're from. I'm from Spokane. First 30 years in Los Angeles, but 45, almost 46 years here in Spokane. It's home. I want it to be vibrant. I worked on the Marabou Point. I was one of the 8 trustees from Marabou Point, and giving back to this community is I think so important. And you're doing that daily. I'm going to go off script, okay? Just because I like the conversation better than I like reading questions from people. And so I apologize if you send in a question and I'm not covering it. But where do we go from here? This community is divided. I don't know if you know that, but it's divided, okay?
It is.
It's lived through a riot or 2 years ago. I called a friend of mine and said, what is going on in Spokane, Washington, and across the country, okay? My friend left at age 19, Iran, and walked over the mountains to Turkey to come here and be free in his family, okay? And he said, Kent, I come from somewhere that has a 2,500-year history, and they still don't have it right. We're 250 years old. We're a baby, still taking baby steps, still correcting some injustice that happened, okay? And we can go into why that happened and so forth, and shame on them, okay? I get it. Some of it had to be done to form our union, too. But here we are, we're smarter. Where are we in Spokane to help bring everybody together? I'm a critic, as you probably know, of the 5 members on the city council that lean to the left, okay? That's no secret out there. People know where I stand. I stand there because not so much my kids, my youngest is 41, okay? But I have grandkids. The twins, a boy and a girl, just turned 13. Oh, Lord, 13 teenagers. I worry about the future for them in Spokane. I don't care that much about climate change around the world. Yet, is it important to address? Yes. I care about Spokane because this is where I live and most of my grandkids and my kids live here. What can we do to work together to get this going again, okay?
I think we all want that, and I'll let you speak
Yeah.
to, you have grandchildren, it's important to you as well.
You're not old enough.
3 enough, 3 triplets.
3 triplets,
And they're 13.
3 triplets?
and they're
Yes,
13.
2 girls and a boy, so I'll speak to that. Go ahead.
Oh,
Councilman
my
Kinnear.
gosh.
And so you asked, how do we get together? How do we
Yeah.
make things happen? And we're taking steps in that direction. The first thing we do is stop politicizing. Stop saying, you're left, you're right. This job that we occupy is a nonpartisan job. We want to make sure everybody is served in this community. Not the people that have the loudest voices, but everybody. And that takes time. So think about how long it took to unravel and get to this point.
Right.
We're going to have to ravel it back up. And we're going to have to reach out and say, how can we talk to people? How do we bring you to the table? And how do we include you, those of you who have not been included from day one? How do we include you and bring you in and make you part of the community?
Ask us,
Exactly.
Yes.
okay?
Exactly.
Ask us.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we're ready to serve.
We're ready.
We really
Yes.
are. We're ready to serve.
Absolutely.
We may disagree with you on some things. I'm going to guess, though, in the long term, we agree on what we want the outcome to be.
Absolutely.
It's how we get there
It's the
and how
path.
soon we get there. There's that urgency in the community. You
know,
feel it.
Speed is not always, let's do it right.
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
get it right. And if it's baby steps to get us there, think about the people who are coming into our community. They're opening restaurants downtown,
Yes.
opening businesses downtown. They're younger people. They're
Yes.
opening breweries. They're opening wine tasting rooms, the Waffle House down there. These are people that are enthusiastic about Spokane. We can build on that.
Yeah.
And those are the people we should be talking to as well.
In fact, you both know about our Meet the Candidate series that we do. We're going to do it at Dry Fly.
Ooh.
Out in the community. We're going to start doing out in the community.
Perfect.
Because some people say, well, I don't want to go down to his studio.
Right.
I'm not the only owner, okay? And yes, my heart and soul is in this. I don't get paid. It's not about getting paid. My daughter asked me, why didn't you do this years ago? Because I needed to have an income. That was before I could collect Social Security and a pension and that sort of thing. This is my gift to the community, okay? I'm so happy that the two of you are here, okay? Because we disagree on some things, but deep down, we do agree on it, okay?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to say right here and now, I'm here to help get the word out. We can do that here, okay?
Kent, I have to comment. Climate change may not be as important to you, but to those young people, it's important to them.
I get that.
And so,
But
it's
I'm more
not
worried
only-
about their getting a job.
Right.
You know?
But it's important. But we have to represent everybody. So
Yeah.
I can't silence their voice and what's important to them.
No.
It really is listening to both sides. So it is nonpartisan. They're in our ear like climate change. They're protesting, marching.
Yeah.
Businesses are saying homeless, clean up downtown. Both are right.
Yes.
And we have to somewhere in the middle make that work as a community.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will continue to be divided, and then we have to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, minor
And
detail.
don't- yeah,
okay.
no, let-
Okay, so I'm thinking, and I'm going to paraphrase one of the questions, and that is the business community through its tax collection and so forth is funding a lot of what the council uses for dollars and so forth. Are they getting their dollars worth right now?
I think so.
I do too.
And don't forget that the average citizen out there is funding what their priorities are. We are funding what their priorities are as well. They're all I'm a taxpayer, you're a taxpayer.
Yes. Yes.
We're all funding those priorities.
Yeah.
So would it be fair, Kent, because we want to be equitable, and they're business owners, so they have things that other folks don't have. The working man, average wage in Spokane is $56,000 a year, and they're paying their fair share. Business owners are employing those people, and so we're all in it. So again, I want Spokane to thrive downtown, but it's all of Spokane.
Yes.
And
Oh,
how
yes.
do
Yeah.
we bring all
Yeah.
those others into downtown to make them feel safe, to spend their money?
Yes.
So those businesses thrive and they can pay more taxes.
And Mark
towards
Richard
that.
was here a month or two ago before
Right,
he
he
left.
left,
And
yes.
he talked about the more eyes we get downtown, and
Yes.
one of you said that too, the better off, the safer we all are and everything else. And
We're
so-
both on the DSP board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've worked closely with Mark Richard.
Yes.
And I was the one that did the alley project, the very first alley project. That was my project. And now the mayor is going to expand that. And
Yeah.
again, I will be approving that money for that.
Some of us have concerns when we see, I'm going to make this political, okay? And when we see the discussion of the new location out there that may be, and that Ben Stuckert's involved and all of that, and some going back to some of the same people, those who are involved in the homeless situation and so forth. Do you have any of me involved in that, meaning business people that are strictly business people that come from you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay? And I don't mean to mean
Yeah,
me
no, the
personally,
business voice,
but I
yeah.
mean people who can maybe voice some opposition to, yes, but this isn't a job security for you, Ben, or for that, whatever. I'm using Ben because
Yes.
it's an easy target.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's
I know,
out there,
but-
so
Yeah.
Well-
we support that. Go ahead, Mom.
This is a very confusing piece because the mayor is responsible for securing a location.
Okay.
That hasn't happened yet because we don't have a lease to look at. We don't have an amount, a dollar amount. We don't have a provider.
Okay.
So that hasn't happened yet. So the mayor is working with a business person to secure that building.
Okay.
So we don't have any information. The providers absolutely have to be brought to the table. They're going to be the ones providing the services.
Right.
Making sure the facility is secure and everybody has what they need.
But are you going to have business people helping advise you? I don't mean to make the decision because the decision is yours.
Well, they're going to be advocating for us to fund that building.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that regard, absolutely. And I want to hear from them. What is the number that they feel comfortable with the city paying
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that facility? Because we know what
All
it's
comes down to
worth.
dollars.
It does.
I mean, there's no way around it.
And we do not have a printing press in the basement of City Hall.
What?
I know, that's a shock.
She'll be the first one to go to jail.
Yes. Okay. You've got all that figured out already,
we
don't you?
got that figured out already.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. I'm going to ask you to come back at some point in another month or so, will you?
Absolutely.
And let's continue this discussion, okay? Because I've enjoyed it. I've
I have
enjoyed
too.
the fact that you haven't thrown things at me yet.
No.
And let's work together, not only as my representative at City Hall, okay, but as council members of downtown, which is the big topic today, let's
it
face it.
is.
It's not just all downtown, I'll be the first to agree with that. But let's work together and bring others in. You can bring a department head in or whatever else you might want to do too. But let's continue this discussion. Is that fair enough?
That's fair.
That's fair.
And
That's
thank you
absolutely-
for providing the space for civil discourse.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
a respectful manner.
Yeah.
Because
That's
that's
so
truly
important. So important.
missing
Yeah.
and it's important.
Well, and you've probably seen some of my commentaries, and I'm going to do a couple more
Yep.
and so forth. And that's my position. By the way, we have a program for anybody out there who wants to come and be civil called My View, and they can have 3 minutes in front of the camera. We'll put their script on the teleprompter if they want to read off of it. Let them practice for a while. If you know of people that want to counter what I'm doing and what others are saying,
Good.
I want. Broadcast isn't going to do it. They can't afford the time.
No.
Okay, and equal opportunity and all that. So we don't have equal
No.
fairness rules
No,
here.
we don't.
Yeah, on
But
on
I don't
podcasting.
I don't even think we don't have them anyway.
Yeah.
They're,
They don't.
they're gone.
Yeah.
We don't have them anymore.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
That is the truth. Thank you, ladies,
Thank
for
you.
coming down and putting up with me, number one, and number two, for doing what you're doing, because we may not agree on everything, but you're spending a lot of time on our behalf. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time too.
See you next month.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a date.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day. Take care.
We can't tell you that a Windermere agent drove for hours, rented a boat to cross a lake, then hiked to the Canadian border, just so her client wouldn't miss out on a really good offer for their home. I mean, if we did, wouldn't everyone expect that kind of service? Windermere, we're all in for you.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.